Surely the presence of love is in this place and in all places and in all people. Knowing and accepting this, we bless all people no matter their race, color, creed, or expression of love. Knowing that there are many paths to God, many names for God, many faces of God, but only one God. And this God is expressing through all creation in many, many ways. We come here together today to experience and express the Christ Spirit that dwells in each and every one of us. Good afternoon. I'm Reverend Michael Everett Davis. I welcome you to this celebration of life service. Today we come together to celebrate and honor our beloved Nancy Johnson. This is a time designed to release our loved one into the care and keeping of God. Yet it's a time of affirming life, life abundant and everlasting. As spiritual beings, we are all on an eternal journey whose purpose is to express that inner spirit of love, truth, and eternal life that is our divine birthright. Nancy lived a loving, beautiful, and fulfilling life, one of over 99 years. So today we honor a life well lived and a life well loved. For a moment, let us remember all of the beautiful ways in which Nancy has touched our very souls. Gently call to mind her love, her gentleness, her quick wit, her wisdom, and her laughter. Remember the sweetness of her spirit that she gave each and every day. And now, knowing the divine law, as you give, you truly receive, we will give that love back to Nancy as we support her in her new realm of life, free and eternal.
Remember me in the melting snow. Remember me in the river's flow. Look for me in the mountains tall, for I am part of it all. Hear me in the wind as it blows. I'm in the scent of each lovely rose. Feel my warmth in the shining sun, for I am all and all is one. For I am everywhere and I have always been here since time began. I am, and I will never leave you, for I am your friend. Look inside your heart, take my hand. Remember me in a cloud-filled sky. I'm in each tree as it reaches high. I'm in every grain of sand, every raindrop small. Yes, I am part of it all. Look for me in each other's eyes. Hear my voice in a baby's cries. Feel my touch as you help someone I am all and all is one. For I am everywhere and I have always been here since time began. I am, and I will never leave you, for I am your friend. Look inside your heart, take my hand. Remember me when you can't go on. Think of me when all hope is gone. When you're all alone and no one seems to care, I will always be there. For I am everywhere and I have always been here since time began. I am, and I will never leave you, for I am your friend. Look inside your heart, for I am everywhere and I have always been here since time began. I am, and I will never leave you, for I am your friend. Look inside your heart, take my hand. Remember me, remember me.
I'm also the person that will wipe off the microphones. Listen to it. We have a sacred, heartfelt purpose in gathering here today. This purpose is to reaffirm our faith in life eternal by blessing Nancy on her way into the next experience of living. From this time forward, let us think of her as no longer limited by time or form, and always think of her as a living soul continuing on the way of life, ever in the wise and loving care of our Father, Mother, God. Please join me in prayer. Divine Spirit, we acknowledge your presence with us and your Spirit in us now, blessing us with your love and strength as we celebrate the life of our beloved Nancy. It is through experiencing our oneness that we recognize that our oneness in eternal life and know that in spirit there can be no separation from those we love. And in this truth, we find comfort. It is in this faith that we pray. Amen.
Praise the Lord, everybody. This is to the family of Miss Nancy, and I know everyone's going to miss her. Because of who you are, I give you glory. Because of who you are, I give you praise. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you. Because of who you are, Lord, I worship you. Because of who you are, oh, because of who you are, I give you glory. Yes, because of who you are, I give you praise. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you. Because of who you are, Lord, I worship you. Because of who you are, oh, Jehovah Jireh, my provider, Jehovah Nissi, Lord, you reign in victory, Jehovah Shalom, yes, my Prince of Peace, Lord, I worship you because of who you are, yes, because of who you are, Lord, I give you glory, yes, because of who you are. Only you, Lord, I give all the praise because of who you are. I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Oh, Jehovah Jireh, yeah.
Good afternoon. I was just thinking of how in the last few years, at least, you know, if I was up here serving in some capacity and I looked out there and there, that side aisle, and if that little body wasn't there, something was missing. Something was missing. And we would wonder, is she well? That faithfulness, oh my goodness, that faithfulness. So, you know, it's most natural thing in the world to feel sadness when someone we've known and treasured for so long is gone. They're no longer walking this earth with us, and we can't call them up and chat with them or have them scold us or whatever. And that sadness eventually gives way to healing in time, especially if we celebrate that loved one and all the time that we had together with her. It's also understandable that we would feel an emptiness where that beloved person once brought such a fullness and richness of life to us. We know that Nancy would not want us to be sad too long. I don't think she had a high tolerance for sadness. She'd expect us to get up and get going, to embrace whatever delights us, whatever uplifts us, and gives us meaning and purpose to our days. In my mind, I see her dancing. I see her radiant smile shining, and I can easily imagine her faithful, prayerful, happy presence now everywhere, not limited to a body, but radiant in all dimensions of this world. Today, in this celebration of Nancy's life, let us give thanks to God and thank Nancy for all the years she added her faith and her uniquely wonderful presence in prayer and play and service to this Unity family. She lives in the holy mind of God forever, and her memory is a blessing to us all. Imagine now that she is speaking to you, to each and every one of us. And she says, "When I am gone from your sight, do not visit me at a stone marker or a little plot of land. My essence cannot be contained there. Instead, wake and sit with me in the silence of a sunrise. I will be sitting with you. Walk and breathe with me under the beauty of a clear sky, and I will be looking back at you. Laugh with me at memories we created together. I am laughing still. Let your spirit flow. Let go and dance along with me. Search for ways to be more fully and completely alive. Enjoy your life and never stop. Live big every day. When I am gone from your sight, you will still see me in the light within your own eyes. When you long to speak with me again, listen to my voice, speaking to you within your own heart. Honor my life by living yours more consciously than ever before. Be a loyal friend. Encourage someone who is struggling. Practice generosity and patience. Lordy, that woman could really give lessons in patience sometimes. I just loved it. Believe deeply in your God and deeply in yourself. Make a difference in someone else's life. Appreciate the miracle and wonder of each new day and give only love. Remember, when I am gone, that I am with you for eternity, for God has made it so. Amen.
Thank you, Louise, for that. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Paul. Kathy wanted a service full of music and poetry. I hope we deliver. And it was the choice of Nancy's beloved family and Unity family that we celebrate her life. It was a life well lived and one which was unique. And so I will read these words that were written down by Nancy's beloved niece, Kathy. Thank you. I'll do my best. I will cry. Nancy Rowena Holloman Johnson, Nanny, to her nieces and anyone else who chose to call her that, was born on February 9th, 1921 in Indianapolis to Benjamin William and Fanny Black Holloman. She and her sister Mary Louise were raised in a house at 510 North Blackford Street, now the site of an IUPUI parking garage. Nancy, her sister Louise, and brother-in-law Tom always wanted to be able to go back downtown to live. In 1996, they built a duplex home in the historic Indiana Avenue area where they always loved, and moved back downtown to live out the remainder of their lives. Nancy was one of only 5 black students accepted each year at the time to Butler University, and graduated there with her Bachelor in Arts degree, cum laude, in physical education and English. And in 1941, at the age of 20, she graduated. She later received her Master's of Arts in English, also from Butler. Nancy taught PE and English in many different Indianapolis public schools for 40 years, before retiring from Washington High School in 1981. She loved learning and excelled at passing that love onto others, and continued as an unofficial advisor and mentor to many of her former students throughout her lifetime. She was brought up in a musical household and adored all kinds of music, and especially loved to sing and dance. Always quick to help others, Nancy lived a life of service, and by her example, taught others to do so as well. Nancy believed in living life to the fullest. She lived by the certainty that no mountain was too high to climb, and fully supported, emotionally and financially, any and all endeavors of her loved ones to follow their passions. Nancy truly loved everyone, including her enemies, as God willed, and that love seemed to glow with an inextinguishable light from deep inside her. Absolutely everyone could see it, whether or not they knew her. Nancy was a member of Unity of Indianapolis for almost 50 years. She loved Unity and all its congregants with all of her heart, and dedicated herself to her church in the same way she approached her life, wholeheartedly. Nancy served at Unity in several capacities, including as a member of the Board of Trustees, as prayer chaplain, and for many years as a pre-service meditation leader and platform assistant. Most recently, she served as an adjunct member of Unity's prayer ministry. In her Unity home, she found a second family. Nancy was also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the Butler University Alumni Association, and the Subway Supremes. Nancy passed away at the age of 99 years and 7 months on September 25th, 2020. She is survived by her nieces, Kathy Ridley Merriweather and Eric, and Evelyn Ridley Turner and Richard, brother-in-law Thomas H. Ridley, and a host of family and friends, including her two special adopted children, Joseph Lee and Maria Lawson. The family wants to particularly extend our appreciation and gratitude to, is it Bridget or Brigitte? Bridget, thank you. Bridget and Clarissa Todd and Chrissy Smith, Nancy's loving caretakers for over the past 2 years. In heaven, Nancy joins her beloved sister Louise, her niece Diane, her great niece Ridley, and her half-sister Deltessa. For as long as she could, Nancy learned or did something new every day. She answered every question beginning with, "Nanny, do you want to?" with a resounding yes. She truly was and is God's child. May she rest forever in his arms. And from Darius Rucker, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Yeah, let yourself go. Follow that feeling. Maybe something new is what you're needing, like a real life. Let your hair down. Feel alive. When was the last time you did something for the first time? It's Michael Smith. There you are.
You need this. You need this.
Michael and I did not get a chance to rehearse at all. That's the way it is these days.
Yes, thank you, sir. Nancy, this one's for you. I know you're in here somewhere. Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far, like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way, and forevermore that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable still thinks that I am unforgettable too. She was such a pleasant lady, very unforgettable. First time you meet her, you remember. Ooh, that's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Good afternoon, everybody. Um, I first met Nancy back in her younger days in 2012. I was blessed to work with her at IU Health. We did several videos together and worked in several scenarios together. So there's always a lot of downtime in between those things when you do them. And the lessons and the joy and the spirit that she fed me with at those times that I got to spend with her, as all of you know, she can change your life for the better. So as I was asked to do this today, I was thinking about some poems. I couldn't come up with anything, and then I found out that today is actually International Black Poetry Day. And I said, how fitting, because Miss Nancy was poetry in action. She was love in action. The way that she lived her life and shared with others was nothing but poetry. So I decided to pick, I have 3 short pieces, and they are actually by Rita Dove. She was the first and youngest African American or Black poet laureate. And each of these, I just felt Nancy speaking through me, speaking to me, and so I would like to share them with you. This first one here is called Testimonial, and it was written in 1968. Back when the earth was new and heaven just a whisper, back when the names of things hadn't had time to stick, back when the smallest breezes melted summer into autumn, when all the poplars quivered sweetly in rank and file. The world called, and I answered. Each glance ignited to a gaze. I caught my breath, called that life, swooned beneath spoonfuls of lemon sorbet. I was pirouette and flourish. I was filigree and flame. How could I count my blessings when I didn't know their name? Back when everything was still to come, luck leaked out everywhere. I gave my promise to the world, and the world followed me here. This next one, it is called Demeter's Prayer to Hades, based off the Greek mythology. Demeter, Hades had taken Demeter's daughter Persephone down to Hades, and that's why we have the seasons. So Demeter's was kind of her enemy. She didn't care for him at all. But this is her prayer to him. This alone is what I wish for you, knowledge. To understand each desire and its edge, to know we are responsible for the lives we change. No faith comes without cost. No one believes without dying. Now, for the first time, I see clearly the trail you planted, what ground open to waste, though you dreamed of wealth and flowers. See, there are no curses, only mirrors held up to the souls of gods and mortals, and so I give up this fate too. Believe in yourself. Go ahead and see where that gets you. Okay, this last piece, fittingly, is called Fox. She knew what she was, and so she was capable of anything anyone could imagine. She loved what she was. Therefore, imagine, she imagined nothing. She loved nothing more than what she had, which was enough for her, which was more than any man could handle. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. Hi. So my name is Kathy Ridley Merriweather. I haven't cried very much yet. Whew. So, I'll get through this though, because Nanny's here with me. I want to start by just thanking everyone. I just want to thank everyone. My family all waits till they're dang near 40 and they have one child. If they have more than one child, those people don't have children. Just to set everything back straight again. And so we, in my family, we have to be caretakers alone a lot. Now, do not pity me, because just as it was when caring for my mom, with the exception of my dad, who is smart, and so he did everything that I told him to, what I say goes. So I can make all the decisions. But fortunately, God blessed me with the ability to ask for help. And I have had to do that a lot, and I'm very grateful for all the help that I've gotten. And so I want to make sure that I thank everyone, especially this Unity family who was always praying for us. And Nanny would not want to be here anymore. So I am so very grateful that she is with God now. She just wanted to just do what she did, which was pass away in her sleep. She had a little bit more struggle before that than she would have liked, but it's just really great that she is where she's supposed to be now. And so it's really silly to cry, but we're human, so our emotions get the best of us. I wrote some notes on my phone, which I don't have with me, so oh well. But anyway, I just wanted to this service is everything that she would have wanted. I buried my daughter in December, and so I could not plan another funeral. And so everybody from Unity said, what can we do? And I said, I'll write the obituary and you do everything else. And she would love lots of music and poetry. And so they have just done an amazing job. And I'm just feeling very much supported. And I feel like I'm grieving in a very healthy, wonderful way. And I'm just grateful. So, Nancy Rowena Holloman Johnson was a mess. Oh my God, this woman was amazing. And so I just came off of my, every year I take a trip with my best friend. We go away, we call it Girls Weekend, but it's really a week. We think we're fooling everybody because we leave on Thursday and come back on Wednesday. And so we call it a weekend, but it's really a week. But don't tell anybody, especially my husband. So we've been doing this for 23 years, and I always have a task for my best friend Lori, who would still be here, but she had to leave Indianapolis today. But so driving down, we had to do one of my school assignments, and coming back, she helped me think out the obituary so I could get it written. And it's just all the joy and memories that I have of Nanny just came flooding back, and it's just so awesome. She was an amazing, amazing woman. And so as I was talking to Lori in the car, I challenged Lori with helping me think of three kind of, if I had to, one of those if you had to questions. If I had to boil down to three words that describe Nanny, or that Nanny was all about, what would they be? And man, that was hard. But the words I came up with were full of love and fun, full of joy, and full of faith. That woman was all those things every single moment of every single day of her life. And so I wanted to just get up here and just tell you just a couple of stories. I will be not long, and I really mean that, not like Baptist preachers who stand up here and end 5 times. I will only end once. So just quick snippets. So the stories are examples of those things. So I'm going to start with faith, actually. I was raised to step out on faith. I was raised to believe in what you can do, as long as you learn and educate yourself and believe, you can step out on faith. And so the nanny stepped out on faith. She taught for 40 years. My mom and she were best friends, and I know that she is so happy now to be back with my mother, because in 2010, when my mom died, Nanny's heart was broken, and it never quite mended. So I'm just loving that they're together now. But it was back in the day when they were teaching, there was no such thing as that equation that people have now when you work and you're X amount old and you've worked for X amount of years, and they add those together and then you can get your full retirement. Yeah, that didn't exist back then. So despite the fact that in 1981, Nanny had only worked for 40 years, and my mom had taught school for about 33 years, but she had left for a while to go work for the state and then had come back. But I don't know who might remember this, but in 1981, there was a school board member who stood up at a meeting and dropped dead. And my mom said, "These kids ain't gonna kill me, I am stopping." And Nanny said, "You're not quitting without me," and they left, they retired. That was it, at the ages of like 60 and 57 or something, 59 and 56, something like that. And they, of course, had to work throughout their retirement doing other things, but that was just a quick, they just had no idea. I mean, that was something that was not done then, to just stop working because it was the healthy thing to do. They just quit. They said, "We're done." And their pension was a pittance, so they had to keep going, but of course keep going they did. So she was definitely a woman full of faith, and you guys here know that, definitely as well as I do, but she would step on that faith, she would stand on that faith, and she would always believe in it, and she always knew that God was there for her, regardless of what happened and what was going on. The other thing that Nanny was, that I want to just exemplify a bit, is she was full of fun, love and fun. Laughter, fun, all those things. True fun, like little kid fun. So I am 60 years old, and when I turned about, I think it was my 52nd or my 53rd birthday, my husband and I weren't married yet, and I gathered some girls together to just hang out with me for my birthday, right? I had my own little birthday party, and we went somewhere and had hamburgers, and then some of them were maybe 10 years younger than I, but most of them were my age or a little bit younger, and I said, I really want to have some fun, so we went to play laser tag. And Nanny, of course, was with us, and she was like 91 years old at the time. And so we went in the laser tag place, and she's like, "What the heck is laser tag?" And I'm like, "Well, you go around and you're in the dark, and you wear these things, and you point guns at people, and people glow in the dark, and you shoot them, and you have to kill as many people as you can, and then you shoot things in the sky, and those die too, and you get points." And it's really fun. And so she walked in, and she was, for the first like 5 or 10 minutes, she was right here by my side. She would not leave, and it was dark, and it was kind of scary. So you guys know what's coming next. Okay, 5 minutes later, she was skulking around corners. She was jumping out. Pew, 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 pew. I got him, I got him, I got him. 91 years old she was. That woman loved fun, and she knew how to have fun. You have to know how to have fun. Some people don't know how to have fun, but she knew how to have fun. And that little vignette is indicative of just how my life with her was. She had no children. I was her other daughter. She was my other mother. And she, I was with her all the time. Whenever parents were working or whenever out of town or whatever, I was with her all the time. And so I really got to know and love her as a daughter loves a mother, not just as a niece loves an auntie. The final little story that I wanted to share today exemplifies Nanny's love of joy. when I think of joy-filled, when I think of the word joyful, her face comes to mind. She was so full of real joy. Joy is there, that kind of joy that comes in the morning, that kind of joy that never leaves, that kind of joy that is there when you're so sad and you're down and you're beaten and you're downtrodden and you cannot believe that you're going to wake up and see another day and you still have joy. That is the kind of joy she had. God's joy. She was full of joy. This is a recent story. I would say it was about 6 or 7 months ago. For the past maybe 3 or 4 months, Nanny was not able to walk. But before that, she was definitely suffering from dementia, but her body was still under her control. So maybe 6 or 7 months ago, her roommate, we got her a roommate, which she was not happy about. But you know, it's like somebody has to be in the house if you wake up and start wandering around in the middle of the night or whatever. So we got her a roommate, and this was a delightful young woman who was getting her PA, her physician assistant master's degree at IUPUI, and she just got that a few weeks ago. So congratulations, Liz. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. Liz was there for 2 years, and Liz loved to tell me stories of Nanny, and so my favorite story that she told me about Nanny was that one night, Liz was quite a light sleeper. So one night about midnight or 12:30, Liz is hearing these noises, and she's a little concerned. 2 women in a house alone, living downtown, and it's in the middle of the night, and she's a little concerned, and she's like, "What is that? What is that noise?" So she gets up and she goes downstairs and she looks over their houses, the compound, I call it, the duplex that they built and moved downtown. I call it the compound. Everybody that works with me knows. I was like, I got to stop by the compound and see if things going on, and then I'll be at work. So the compound homes are like an atrium. You look over over a loft kind of a thing. You can see the family room. So Liz comes and peeks over the loft, and there, in just her pajama top, is Nanny with her tap shoes on. And she is just tapping away. She's just tapping. She's full of joy and wonder, and she is just dancing. And she is just loving it, and Liz just loved the story, and it really embodies that beautiful little woman that is my auntie. And I am just so glad that you all got to know her as well. So I will leave with just 2 words. You guys know what they are? Divine order. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Whew. The other evening, I was looking for things about Nancy. I came across a video of a church service from several years ago where I was using this camera. I had my cell phone set up over here. And we were singing a song at the end of church, and it was called Born to Shine. And I was sitting, watching my computer. I was like, oh, I remember doing this. This is a great song. And then on my screen, coming up the side, was Miss Nancy. And she was preparing for the end of the service as a prayer chaplain. So that was my sign to me to know that she's still here, watching over each of us, hearing our prayers and praying for us. Nancy had a talent of making each and every one of us feel special. Whenever I would sing, or whenever I would do the talk, Nancy would greet me after church, her eyes bright and shining, and tell me how much the message or the music spoke to her or touched her. And shortly after I was ordained. It was after church, I think I spoke. And she walked up to me and she just looked me straight in the eyes. And she said, "That was beautiful. Reverend." And to be called that by the wisest woman I have ever known is something I will never forget. I wasn't planning on sharing that story. Joseph Lee reached out to me yesterday and shared some stories that he had put on Instagram and on Facebook, and I wanted to share those with you. And he had wrote, for about 40 years, there's been one person in my life who's guided me and loved me no matter what. Over the year, there's been one constant message from her: divine order. There's one presence and one power moving in and through us in divine and perfect order. Trust and know this to be true in your own life. The good, the bad, the unexpected, even the unfortunate. It's all in divine order. For 40 plus years, Nancy Johnson, also known as Mom or Ms. J, my former high school English teacher, has been that constant person in my life. Who knew that my high school English teacher would end up becoming a family friend and a huge influence in my life, as well as many others? After teaching in the Indianapolis Public Schools for around 40 years, she retired the same year I graduated from George Washington High School in 1981. Her love of people and life was infectious, and her view on the world did not involve hate. In many ways, she was my rock. We've cried, laughed, talked, and told stories. She taught me to love, sometimes a little too much and too often. She taught me to love, or she taught me to forgive. So hard to do, but the best advice ever. When I told her I was getting a divorce for the third time, she says to me, "I love you, and you finally caught up with me." He was like, I had no idea that she had been married and divorced 3 times. She was always proud to introduce me as her son, which really confused a lot of people. To say that she'll be missed is an understatement. I'm very thankful that I was among many lives she touched all the years of her life. Joseph also shared with me a post that he put in on 2018 when he got his first tattoo. He was going to get his first tattoo, and Nancy was 97 at the time. She already had 3, and so he thought that he should catch up with her. And they were going to meet for breakfast, and he and some other friends and Nancy were going to get another tattoo, but Nancy's schedule at 97 was far too busy, and she couldn't go, but she met them for breakfast, and she wrote on a napkin, "Divine order. Love, Mom." And he has that tattooed on his arm. There's a picture on Facebook. He is not the only student that's going to speak today, a former student of Miss Nancy's. We have Mr. James Washington is here to share a song.
Hello, beautiful people. Sally, excuse me just a second. Yeah, it won't be long. I just want to mention that we had a theme song. That's my theme song for Nancy, and that was, "You Are So Beautiful." And all I'm going to do is just say that. I taught her when I was back in school back in 1940s. But today I'm just going to do a little thing called "Over the Rainbow" because she's everywhere. She's everywhere. I've loved her for a lot of years. And we haven't practiced either, but go ahead. over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly. And I messed up the song already. I'm shook. I'm shook. Sally, as somebody told me a long time ago, don't be afraid, boy. Keep going. Just pretend that nothing happened. All right. Here we go. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere way over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind, where troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere way over the rainbow. Ah, little old bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly above the rainbow, oh, so high, why, oh, why can't I?
My name's Sally, and I know there's going to be sharing, but I want to get mine done now because I don't think I'll be capable of doing it later. Nancy Johnson, there's so many people here that have taught me so much. None any more than Nancy Johnson. There was something about this tiny little woman that was so large. She helped me to believe in myself when I could not. And you know, in the tradition of unity, what she helped me with more than anything else, you know, there's a difference between believing and knowing. And Nancy helped me move from just believing in the good to knowing. And thank you, all of her family and friends that are here. I mean, the beauty that you shared is so much reflective of who Nancy is. I won't say was, because she's still very real to me. There's a song that I wrote that she came up with and said it was the favorite thing that I'd ever done. So I'm going to try to go ahead and sing that in her memory. It's called Your Answers, and it's based on Matthew 7, and I forget the exact verse, but you will all recognize it. You'll all know it. It's the title of the song is Your Answers. Don't worry with when, don't worry with how, for you will be shown every step to take. Hold on to your faith, all things work for good. You are sleeping the sleep spirit longs to wake. Just knock, and the door will open. All of your answers are in God's mind. Before you lies a mountain. In your way it stands. Nothing is impossible. Place it in God's hands and ask, and it will be given. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and that door will open. All of your answers are in God's mind. Your answers are in God's mind. Seek, and you will find. Thank you, everybody, so much. Michael and everyone, I know this is getting long, but with your indulgence, I'm just going to do a part of another song that applies so much to Nancy. I'm not going to do the whole thing. It's a Frank Sinatra song. Some of you of a certain age will have recognized the song, but not everybody here will know it. She takes the winter and makes it summer, but summer could take some lessons That's Nancy with a laughing face. I swear to God you can't resist her. But now all the angels have enlisted her. No one has got more grace than Nancy with a laughing face. Well, did you ever hear mission bells ringing? Well, she'll give you that very same glow. When she speaks, you would think it was singing. Just hear her say hello. I swear to goodness, no one can resist her. By now, all the angels have enlisted her. No one could ever replace our Nancy with a laughing face. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I know all of us have Nancy stories. So I'm going to open the mic for anybody that would like to speak, to share a story. And if you're wondering whether or not you're supposed to share your story, if you're sitting in your seat and your blood pressure is going up and your heart is pounding, that means you're supposed to get up here and tell your story. So, Karen Cheek will be first.
Up the stairs, and you know you're supposed to be up here, right? 2012, Love Nancy. It says, laugh. Nancy gave me this rock. That's a fake rock, really, truthfully. But she gave it to me at a moment in my life when I really needed the inspiration and I needed the support. And I definitely wasn't engaged in a lot of laughter at that time. But I think what she did for me, I've been thinking about this a lot, more than anything else, is that she encouraged and helped me to build my faith in the belief that everything was going to be okay and that I would always be taken care of no matter what the circumstance. And honestly, that's the greatest gift that you could give to anyone, because it allows you to move through difficult circumstances and to see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that God is always here, always with you, and God is good all of the time. She was amazing in terms of her prayer support. I was trying to describe her to somebody yesterday, and all I could think to say was she just radiated love, and you could palpably feel it coming from her. And I think of her still as a mentor for a way to live life in grace and in joy. And she's just Love personified, I think, is the right way to put it. Thank you.
It's easy to talk about Nancy, and easy to love her. I served with her in many ways. I'm Michael Wright, by the way, and I'm currently the board president here. And I served on the board with Nancy several times. And we went through a lot together, supported each other, and that her love was always consistent and constant. Sometimes when things got a little antsy, she reminded us, love reigns here. And so she always reminded us of that. But one of my greatest pleasures was being a chaplain with Nancy. And every Sunday after the service, we'd come down here to pray together with people that needed it. And we prayed with each other sometimes when things got tough. But we always held that faith together. So right now, I'd just like to do this. This is Nancy Stoll. She's here.
Hello. I got the pleasure of meeting Nancy through Kathy. She came and brought me over and told me she had a new assignment for me, that I was going to be the companion for her aunt. And we met and fell in love. She, so full of life. Her mission was to do something new. You know, at least once a week, we had to go to a new restaurant, we had to go someplace we'd never gone before, and it really helped me to come out of myself and to just slow down and enjoy it. I have 5 children, and we talk stories about everything, and I learned about her children, all her students, and just pretty much everybody she came in contact with. She was just a beautiful spirit. In her philosophy for divine order, I didn't know that God was preparing me for the loss of my mother, and just being able to care for her. It just helped me to move past that, to move through that. It was something that I thought I'd never have to face. But she gave me the strength and the courage, and I can look back and enjoy all the moments. I still can't believe Nanny is gone. But she lives on through all the people that she touched. And she was wonderful. And I just had to say that. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for that gift.
Get there. Hello. My name is Thomas Ridley. I am Nancy's brother-in-law. So that would make her sister-in-law, but she was more like a sister to me. We grew up together. 90-some years ago. We were born in the same neighborhood, within 3 blocks of each other. Went to school together, and it was something, they were just we were just friends, good friends, but family also. We went to number 4 school, which is off Indiana Avenue. We grew up on Indiana Avenue, going to the grocery store, drugstore, meeting each other every day just about. The history of Indiana Avenue is clear in my mind. I do tours on that. We were involved in the dancing, singing, whatever went on Indiana Avenue, we were part of it. I was a jitterbug. We like to go to dancing. We like to go to movies. We just lived a good life. Nancy was always cheerful. She was a friend to everybody. If you want to talk, she was ready to listen. So we grew up together. Eventually, after World War II, I married her sister. And we lived near each other for a while. Within the last 24 years, we lived in the same house next door to each other. It's a double. My wife passed 10 years ago, but up until then, we were always going places and doing things together, and it was a lot of fun. I always remember Nancy as someone that smiled a lot, talked a lot. Everywhere we went, she always was friendly to people. When someone wanted to talk, like I said, she's ready to listen. She'll talk with you. And I really enjoyed the time I known Nancy, which was 97 years. I'm 97, I'll be 98 next month. It's been fun knowing Nancy, and I know that she's with her sister because they were very close. Now, if anybody knows about that, I do, because I know both of them all their lives. And they were very close, so I'm sure that they enjoy being together again. I will miss her, but I know that sooner or later we all have to do this. You all have to pass, so I can accept that, and we'll go on with our lives. But one last thing I will say before I stop is when I say Nancy enjoyed being around people, Nancy knew a lot of people. She knew a lot of well-known people, musicians and whatnot that gone through Indianapolis, different writers and speakers and whatnot. She always knew them. She was well known to the jazz world also. A lot of people don't know that, but a lot of the jazz world, because Nancy was involved with the jazz crowd. Her dad was a musician, a jazz musician, wrote songs himself. So she was always involved with music. And so every time I hear music from years back, I always know that Nancy knew that too. That was part of our life. You know, we just grew up together. So I will miss her, but she's in good hands now, I'm sure. Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Vapo Soleil, and I am a son of a classmate of Miss Johnson. over the last few years, I got an opportunity to get to know Miss Johnson. Of course, I was too young to call her Nancy, and I will hold on to that. But the beauty of Miss Johnson was the way that she touched me in these last years. And the joy that I had in spending time with her and my mother and Mr. Ridley. And I think on the last two occasions, we made time to go out to lunch. And the impact that she had, the joy, the vitality. This little woman was a bundle of life. And she was incredibly remarkable in so many ways. I think she was 5 feet. Is that about right? No, 4'10". 4'10"? A year or so ago, I think the last time we went out to lunch was in January of this year, with my mother and Mr. Ridley and Miss Johnson. But the year before, we had gone out to lunch up on the north side, at Bravo's, I believe. And I'll tell you how remarkable she is. We had ordered a lunch, you know, and Mrs. Johnson had ordered a lunch, and you know, I was surprised at the amount that the waiter brought. And I remember thinking, why would you bring her so much? It was a mound, and I have a 20-year-old son who could not have finished it. And so I did ask her if she wanted to cut it up and maybe we could get a box to take it away. And she said, no, I'll be just fine. And Mr. Ridley said, no, she'll be fine. And I kid you not, she finished it all to the last morsel. A mound that I could not have finished. But that wasn't all. That wasn't all. And Mr. Ridley had said, Vop, you know, she has a wooden leg where she puts it all. When the waiter came back with the dessert menu, she said, oh, I'll take something. And it was a brownie, which she said, and I want 2 scoops. And she finished it all. 4'10". And here was the best part. She said, I'm a little stuffed. I'm going to have to take off a button. Is that okay? And there she was, just as real as possible. And I just, it was one of the things that I just wanted to share because of the beauty that she had and the vivaciousness and the vitality. And I will never forget that. And I do hope, as I remember her, she still wore heels. I think at that time she was probably 97. She had those heels and she moved and, you know, and she got out to the car before I did. And I thought, my God, if only I can be this fantastic at 57. Thank you.
My name is Larry Fitzgerald, and I have been a chaplain with Nancy and Mike here for several years. I first wanted to acknowledge Michael. I don't see him in the audience right now, but he's been a great friend of Nancy, bringing her to church every Sunday, and it's been a real joy for him to do that, I know, and appreciate him to do that. Nancy is unity, because she walked the walk and talked the talk. And it's sometimes very difficult for people to do that. It's interesting that she has been such a fixture here at Unity. And so many people have said, as I get older, I want to be like Nancy Johnson. And so many people have said that because of the example that she has set for us. One of the things that we did when we were chaplains, we used to have meetings together, and I can remember a meeting, we were over in the friendship room, and Nancy said, I have something I have to tell you. And sometimes we would share personal stories and things, but I thought, well, this is going to be interesting. She said, I got a ticket. Okay. I think Nancy was probably driving up until the last point where she couldn't drive. But I said, well, what was your ticket for, Nancy? Speeding. It was on 38th Street, and I tried to tell her that they set traps down there sometimes, but she got caught, unfortunately. The other thing that I think that we need to think about, Nancy, is we lost two wonderful women here, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Nancy. When you think about this, these are two women who are in the same class, people who have helped change lives. And Nancy definitely was a person like that. If we were a basketball or sports team here, we'd be retiring her jersey today, is what we'd be doing. And we celebrate Nancy because she is family. We love her so much. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Clarissa Todd, and I met Miss Nancy like 2 years ago because my mom and Chrissy, they were her caregivers, and they needed another person to, work on the weekends, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds easy. Why don't I do that? So, therefore, that's what I did. The first time I met Miss Nancy, she called me her glamour girl because I always used to wear like big lashes and everything around her, and she just loved it, so that's what she called me. And when I started talking to her, I realized that she was like the craziest person I've ever met because like she was just so full of life, and just she used to tell me all the things that she used to do when she was younger, and she showed me all her tattoos, and when she told me when she got them, I was, in awe, because, anyway. During Miss Nancy's, last few days, I would notice that, she wasn't really showing any emotion. And I remembered a couple months ago, I asked her if she liked Etta James, because I'm really young and I didn't know a lot of jazz artists or old-timey artists, so that's the first thing that came to mind. And she said yes, and she said her favorite song was Trust in Me by Etta James. And when I noticed that she wasn't really showing any emotion, that's the song that I sung to her. And I tried to perform it as big as possible and make it extra and dramatic. And she was smiling, and then afterwards she started crying, and it made me cry. And yeah, that's my last experience with Miss Nancy, but I think it was the best.
Hello, dear ones. My name is Karen Kirchman, and I had the privilege to serve with our dearest and beloved Nancy on the board here at Unity and to experience her, and I had the honor to love and be loved by her. And I thank you all for your words and your sharing and your presence. Thank you for honoring her with me in this moment. When I met her, she was already in her 90s, and I was entering my third decade of life, and so we had more than 6 decades between us, but she decided and I agreed that we were sisters We were not to be a mom or a grandmother or any of those things. We were sisters, very decidedly so. And I love that she said yes to serving in leadership again for her, first time for me. And she did it because she felt that it needed to be done, as in there was a need to have that role filled. And, you know, in that time, as we were ever increasing in the pace of things that needed to be done, and also that we were spread as a collaborative team, we increasingly relied on email and electronic things. And she assured me she had a laptop, but that had not been turned on in about 6 years, and had not checked her email in about that amount of time as well. But we accommodated all of that. Thank you, Dorothy, for your work in keeping her informed and up to date. And I think really the reason that she chose to serve, and the style and what she brought to the table, you know, she's not there to check all the forms and look at the paperwork. She's not there to, you know, take on something that wasn't right for her. She was there, though, to make sure that things were done right, and not from a place of ego, not from a place of intellectual rightness, but from a place of integrity, to make sure that things were done in a way that honored, to make sure that things were done in a way that embodied the love that she was and the love that she found here in this place. And I've actually loved that we've had kind of a couple of weeks to process and be with her, and I've thought many times about what I remember about her, and I've closed my eyes and I've invited her to let me remember. And so what I remember is her smile and the way that she lit up. I remember the surrender when she would pray, or when I had the incredible privilege to serve and offer her healing in our healing circle. And she would truly just surrender and let go into that presence that she found within. And I remember her laughter and just the joy, truly. I mean, everything you all have said has been true to form. And it has honored this very special person that we all got to know and got to love. And if I think about what was so special about that, about being in her presence and about knowing her, because it was very remarkable. I will never forget it. I know none of you will either. And she had this incredible gift to allow people to feel seen and valued for exactly who they were. There was no threshold to earn her attention. There was no threshold to be worthy to deserve a place with her. Rather, she just allowed us to be seen as we were and to feel heard, to feel seen, which in this world I think is a very special and very unique thing. And as I said, it was a privilege and a joy to know her, but it was an honor to love her, and I'm so glad that I did and that I am, and that we all get to take that forward from here. Thank you.
So I'm Rose Pulaski, and I've served on the praise team for on and off for a number of years, and my favorite thing was always to be able to see, like Michael said, that corner over there, because it filled the room with that smile and that unconditional love that she exuded. And all your stories, I did not know her well, but I knew her through every one of your stories, just the little bit that experiences I had with her, and all the words that I was going to say have already been said. And she was just the embodiment of all the best principles of unity. She was joy de vivre. She was joy, right? And I think Larry said something about people had said, you know, I want to be like her when I get older, and I want to say, start now. And because when I think of Nancy, that's what I want to be now. I want to be that always. I want to embody her, and I will never forget her, because all I have to do is think of her, and I see that shining face and her aura, which was so expansive, and I think that's what everyone's talking about, that they felt the minute you were in her presence, and we carry that. She's never, ever going to leave us, because that part of her is part of us. And so I thought I was pretty divinely inspired today, because right before I left, I found this poem, and I thought, wow, if this isn't about Nancy. And then after I do this poem, I'm going to sing a cappella a song that I wrote by it was adapted from a female Persian poet. I think she was I can't remember her name, apologize, but she was a contemporary, I believe, of Rumi's. So here we go. Thy music causeth my soul to dance. In the murmur of the wind, I hear thy flute. The waves of the sea keep the rhythm of my dancing steps. Through the whole of nature, I hear thy music played, my beloved. My soul, while dancing, speaketh of its joy in song. In my soul, there is a temple, a shrine, a mosque, a place where I kneel. In my soul, prayer leads me to an altar where there is no mind or body. There are no walls or names. In this region of love, in the sovereignty of creation, I fall into sublime emptiness, where ecstasy flows in onto itself, folds in onto itself, lost in divine illumination. In my soul, there is a temple, a shrine, a mosque, a place where I kneel. In my soul, prayer leads me to an altar where I dissolve into God, where I dissolve into God.
Good evening, everyone. I'm A.D. Martin. I didn't think I was going to come up here, but I couldn't. But I used to call Mother Johnson my mother, because she filled that void that I felt when I lost my biological mother several years back. And the special things that everybody said to her, I remember vividly. Like the example that Frank gave about her driving. She used to drive me right across the street to the library. And I said, I can walk across the street. You don't need to drive. But I did it anyway, because I love being in her company. And when we got out on Pennsylvania, a car was coming. I was always a little concerned because of her age of driving. She got on Pennsylvania, and I saw a car going south. And before I could say, Mother Johnson, what? She had already turned out of the way, got in the lane, looked at me and laughed, and I busted out laughing too. Out of all the occupations she's had here, I'm surprised she wasn't an IndyCar driver too, because that woman had it together. And I believe that her car broke down before she stopped driving, because she's always had it together every time I saw her. And style and fashion, wasn't she? That woman had it going on. Every time she came in here, I was like, wow, look at this gal. She meant so much to so many of us. And when I first heard about her transition, I cried, of course, and then I knew where she was, and she would always be in a better place. And I heard it from Michael and Michael Jackson, Reverend. And it did so much for me to know that I got to meet her and be in her company and share all the blessings that she had for us, and hopefully we gave because of her experience in our lives. I'll always miss her and love her, and hopefully we can have a picture of her in the lobby as a constant memory of everything that she used to be to us and still is.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing your stories. There's a common thread. I think we all know about Nancy, and that she was a bright, bright light. Kathy said she didn't want a sad service today. So as we bring this service to a close, we're going to do some stuff that reminds me of Nancy, for sure. All right, ready, Thomas?
Oh, yeah.
All righty.
All right. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, this is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine. I see the joy, I see the joy, I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, in this world, in this world. I see the joy, I see the joy, I see the joy in this world. In this world, this is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine. I'm living love every day. 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 Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place, living love every day. I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Oh yeah. Let it shine. Let it shine.
And as we end every service here at Unity, for Unity folks, prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Our final song to sing out is because we all are blessed. I am blessed, I am blessed, every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning, or lay my head to rest, I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed, every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning, or lay my head to rest, I am blessed, I am blessed. Thank you all for being here and honoring Nancy.
Amen.